Okay, everybody, happy Sunday to you. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris. We are, myself and First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi, watching this line of storms that is currently moving through North Georgia. We've been telling you about this for the past several days, and it's here. So here's what you can expect. Most of you this morning will see rain and lightning. So that is the primary form that everybody will see, rain and lightning. But there is also the potential still for some isolated severe thunderstorms, and that's what we are seeing southwest of Atlanta this morning. That yellow box that you see at the bottom of First Alert radar, that is a severe thunderstorm warning that is still active until 4:15, and it includes those of you in Troup County. You're getting sort of the worst of it right now in LaGrange. It also includes southwest Meriwether County, so if you are in Greenville this morning in Meriwether County, you're dry now, maybe a little light rain, but that rain is really going to start to pick up for you. Also, the wind is going to really pick up. That's really our biggest concern this morning. What I'll do for you is turn the radar down just a little bit, the brightness, so you can see those warnings. Again, the yellow box that you see, that is the severe thunderstorm warning that we are tracking. So I just turned the brightness of the radar down just a little bit so you can see where that yellow box is in relation to the rain. So again, Greenville, you are currently mostly dry, but this is moving to the north and east. So as I put this into motion, you can see we're in Greenville. That heavy rain, lightning, and in particular very gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour will be possible for you in Greenville here as that activity moves quickly toward the north and east. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for you in Meriwether and Troup counties until 4:15, and that yellow box goes up to South Coweta County as well, particularly for those of you just east of Grantville. That doesn't currently include Peachtree City, but you can clearly see where this rain, as it moves toward the north and east, is blowing out, what we call it, which is when the winds start racing out ahead of the storm. And that is our biggest concern right now, is that potential for damaging winds as this particular storm moves toward the north and east. So I'm here again. First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi is here. And we are in constant communication with the National Weather Service as this activity moves through North Georgia. Just want to quickly let you know, with this particular warning, these storms are moving toward the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. So they're moving very quickly toward the northeast, which means that even though we are forecasting and even seeing some strong winds in this activity, it'll be a fast-moving system. So what will end up happening, I'm going to zoom back out here on First Alert radar so you can see the entire area. What will end up happening for you this morning is initially you're going to see very gusty winds, and you're going to hear some thunder and lightning, and that'll happen for maybe 20 minutes. And then after that heavier rain and the heaviest part of the storm passes by, then it's just rain for like an hour or so. You can see all that rain that extends back toward Birmingham. So initially storms moving in with the potential for damaging winds. That'll only last for about 20 minutes or so since this is moving so fast. But after the strongest part moves through, then that steady rain will just continue for the next, I said hour, probably several hours through the first part of Sunday morning. So that's what we're looking at here in terms of what is happening right now across North Georgia. Again, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris. It is currently 3:52 in the morning. So First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi and I are here. We're watching these storms for you not only because of the potential for some strong winds, but we are still watching at least the potential for an isolated tornado or two. What I will point out is earlier this morning when this activity was in Alabama, we had like a line of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. Thankfully, all of those tornado warnings have expired, at least for the part of the line that's moving through North Georgia, as you can see here. But we're still hanging on to a few severe thunderstorm warnings, particularly south of Atlanta. And we are also still looking at least the potential for an isolated tornado or two. Thankfully, we're just not seeing that as this activity is moving to stable air. But that potential still exists. So we'll be here watching that for you. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. We're working here in real time. I'm going to stay with you here on our streaming apps just to let you know what you can expect as this activity gets closer and closer to Atlanta. If you are watching this morning from Metro Atlanta, right now we're just seeing rain, but for the city of Atlanta even, we are seeing this activity which is starting to quickly move toward Metro Atlanta. So we have about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour before those winds start to pick up in the city of Atlanta. No warning for Atlanta, but that is definitely something that we're going to be watching for you. So I'm communicating with First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazi, who is in our studio right now. and she is letting me know that the storm that's in Troup County is starting to show some signs of rotation. So I'm going to stop here and go down to Troup County. That's that storm that I just showed you, actually, that was sort of blowing out and producing the strong wind. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to our velocity mode and get an idea of exactly what's going on within that particular storm. Courtney mentioning, again, Troup County. And there you go. So what we are looking at here, just to give you a little idea of the meteorology behind this, these are the winds inside of the storm. All right, so that's just northeast of LaGrange. So I will point out that this activity that we're seeing, this rotation, is northeast of LaGrange, so it wouldn't impact LaGrange. This is moving toward the north and east, so this is basically along and just north of I-85 moving toward Hogansville. There is no tornado warning for this yet, but that red that you see and the green that's really close together, that is where you could have some potential rotation. The red is the wind moving one way. The green is the wind moving in the opposite direction. And whenever you get the red and the green really close, and I'll recircle this because that's a better idea right there. Whenever you get that red and that green really close, that is where we could see potential rotation. Notice how the red and green are right next to each other. The brighter the color, the stronger the wind. So whenever we see those colors right next to each other, the red and the green, and they're really bright, that is our sign, our meteorological sign that there's rotation there. What I will point out is that the red is really bright. The green is not quite as bright. And so there's rotation here, but I like to see that green a little bit brighter. So that's certainly good news, but this is a storm that's definitely rotating. Doesn't mean a tornado is happening, but that's something that we're certainly watching. So we're going to watch these scans in northeast Troup County as that moves toward the northeast and into Meriwether County for the potential of a developing tornado. Again, no warning for that yet, no tornado warning. You are currently under a severe thunderstorm warning in Troup and Meriwether County, but that is for strong winds, not necessarily for a tornado. But you just saw, you're looking at that right now, the same thing that we are seeing. And that storm is definitely rotating there just north and east of LaGrange. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking through the National Weather Service. We are definitely communicating with the Weather Service to get an idea of what they're looking at as well. And they also acknowledge there's some rotation down there. I don't think that that rotation at the moment is strong enough to warrant a tornado warning, but it's rotating. So if you are in northwest Meriwether County in particular, along I-85 near Hogansville, just south of Hogansville, this is definitely the zone that we're watching the most for potential rotation. And unfortunately, this is what we're watching this morning. I want to zoom out on our velocity mode. As this line moves in, these little nuggets, if you will, of rotation will be possible along this line. And then this type of a pattern, this happens a lot this time of year. You can get quick spin-up tornadoes in this line with very little notice. So that's really our concern, is as this line moves through, at any point you can get these little rotations that happen. And even though they're small, I mean, a tornado is a tornado, so that's still very dangerous as this activity moves toward the north and east. So that's what we're watching for you right now. Troup County, Meriwether County, you're definitely seeing the worst of this. And beyond just the threat of a tornado, definitely seeing strong winds as this moves toward the north and east, again, at about 55 miles per hour. So moving very quickly. If you're in LaGrange this morning, the worst of it is now past you. So you're just seeing light rain at this point in LaGrange. The heaviest part of this storm is moving toward Hoganville and also basically moving into Meriwether County again. I was telling you in Greenville that rain was going to pick up for you. That's what's happening now. So in Greenville, you were seeing heavy rain and you were also seeing gusty winds that are starting to move northeast and into your area. So what we're doing again is working in real time. In addition to being on the streaming apps here for you, giving you an update, we're also basically analyzing this in real time. So occasionally I may stop talking just to read over some of the data that we are looking at, while also giving you this important information. All right, so let's zoom back out here. Again, if you're in Atlanta, it's mostly dry. We have some showers in Atlanta. You have about 30 minutes, and this is going to start to move into Atlanta. Right now, the leading edge of this particular storm, this line of storms, is moving into Paulding County and Douglas County, moving east-northeast. So it is 3:58, just about 4 o'clock right now. Let's just go ahead and track this, if you will, to the east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour to give you an idea of exactly when this will be in your area. But if you are in Atlanta, within the next hour, you have heavy rain, lightning, and strong winds moving your way. That's my biggest concern, are the strong winds that are about to move into Atlanta. So tracking this toward the north and east, here is your latest timings. If you were in Dallas, this is basically impacting you right now. Austell 410, 417 in Marietta, 424 in Atlanta. So I said about 30 minutes within the hour. Right before 4:30, that's when the heaviest of this, really over the next 20 minutes, this is moving into Atlanta. Decatur 431, Alpharetta 435, 439 in Stone Mountain. Again, heavy rain, strong winds moving into Atlanta. Atlanta's not currently under a warning, but that will be possible, those gusty winds as this moves through. And you see the lightning here. There's not much lightning, but there is lightning out there, so you will start to hear some thunder in Atlanta as well. Again, we're watching Atlanta, but the strongest part of this line is in Troup and Meriwether County. So that's where I'm going to sort of stay focused this morning as we continue to watch these scans, particularly for the strong winds and at least a threat of rotation. I want to go back to our velocity to see what's happening here with this particular storm. First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi telling me just minutes ago that this was rotating. There's still some rotation. It's not quite as strong. I don't believe we'll get a tornado warning here, but I do want to do something. I'm going to query this just to give you an idea of how fast these winds are blowing. This is mainly for those of you in northeast Troup and also northwest Meriwether County. It's a 38, nearly 40 mile per hour wind. This is a little bit higher up, so this wind isn't necessarily at the ground where you are, but whenever you have storms, those storms can bring the wind down to the ground. So that's where you get those strong, what we call straight line winds, going up into Meriwether County. It's about 40 mile per hour. That's the wind that I'm clocking right now on First Alert radar. These winds could be up to 60 miles per hour, which is why you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, what you see there in that yellow box, that is the severe thunderstorm warning that is active for Troup and Meriwether counties and South Coweta County until 4:15. Even though you're in this warning in Troup County, LaGrange, again, the worst is over for you. You're just seeing rain. This is really now impacting northwest Meriwether County. So if you're in Greenville, the worst of it is moving over you as we speak. Lone Oak, you're also seeing some heavy rain. The winds are picking up for you as well. And as this moves toward the north and east, it will eventually hit Coweta County. So I'm going to do a loop so you can see the motion and how this is moving. And now we'll do a track on this particular storm so you can see where it's headed for those of you specifically in Coweta County. I wouldn't be surprised if this warning is extended a bit more for Coweta County, maybe even Spalding County. So here's the track on this particular storm. And again, in all of North Georgia, this is the strongest that we are seeing, the strongest overall storm that we're seeing right now. And if you are in Noonan, 402, so that is when the heaviest of this will start to move over you in Meriwether County. You're actually not under a warning in Noonan right now, but the worst of this storm with gusty winds will be headed your way basically right now. Gay, 406, that's in Meriwether County. Harrelson, 413. Peachtree City, 415. Fayetteville, 425. And at 428, Griffin. Again, this is the strongest storm that we're seeing right now on First Alert radar, producing heavy rain, lightning, and gusty winds that are averaging about 40 miles per hour, but could be as strong as 60. Whenever that wind gets up to 60, that is what prompts the severe thunderstorm warning. So that yellow box that you see, that's where those winds are more likely to get up to 60 miles per hour. On average, though, those winds are at about 40, which is still a gusty wind. So you're not under a warning right now in Peachtree City or Moreland, but as this storm moves northeast, we're going to be watching for you. You have the best chance of seeing a warning here over the next couple of minutes here. The warning that we have out there right now expires at 4:15. So for those of you in Meriwether County, specifically, really all of Meriwether County, to be honest, you have about 10 more minutes of this, 10 to 15 more minutes of this before this warning expires. Here's what I want to do next. I'm going to zoom back out here on First Alert Radar and show you the scenario in terms of the potential for tornadoes. We do have a tornado watch that is out until 9 o'clock this morning. It does include Metro Atlanta and southward. So Cobb County, Fulton County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, Paulding County, as far west as Polk County. Also for those of you in parts of Walton County and southward, you are under this tornado watch until 9 a.m. If you are in Cherokee County, Dawson County, Bartow County, Floyd County, Hall County, and northward, you are not under the watch. The North Georgia mountains and basically the northern half of North Georgia, you're not under this watch. The reason why the watch is from Atlanta southward is because that's where our instability, our storm energy is this morning. This is something else that we've been talking about all day and over the past several days. We have what's called a wedge that built into North Georgia, and that's basically colder air that comes in from the northeast. Here's our temperature map. You can see where in northeast Georgia temperatures are still in the 50s. Atlanta, you're up to 64 degrees, though. So the cooler the air, the more stable the air, and you're not necessarily seeing as high a risk of storms where that air is more stable. I'm going to stop that explanation here for just a second because we just got some new information from the National Weather Service. So let's see what they have done here at the Weather Service and get you that latest information. They've done something with these warnings to the south of here. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning, it looks like. I'll come back to explaining the wedge and the cooler air in just a second, but let's get back to First Alert Radar because we do have some new information. A new warning has been issued, and we've been talking about that. So I was just talking about this, how this line, as it moves northeast, we would almost certainly see a new severe thunderstorm warning because the current one expired at 4:15. But that line is still pretty strong. So that yellow box, notice how that yellow box expands all the way up to like McDonough now. So let's read this out. This severe thunderstorm warning, this new one is in effect until 5 o'clock this morning. It includes those of you in Coweta County, South Coweta County to be more specific, South Fayette County, Clayton County, Henry County, including McDonough, including Locust Grove, Spalding County, including Griffin, and also Lamar Pike and Upson County. So basically what the National Weather Service is doing is this line that you see, and I will circle this line for you again, the leading edge of this line where these storms are pretty strong. This here, they're basically tracking this northeast, and everybody in the path of this is under a warning now, just to give you early notice. So as I mentioned before, as the leading edge of these storms move in, on average, you're seeing a wind of about 40 miles per hour, but the winds could peak up to 60. And once those winds are up to 60 miles per hour, that's a damaging wind that could bring trees down. So as this line races northeast at about 55 miles per hour, everybody in the path of this line has the potential of seeing damaging winds, and that's why this severe thunderstorm warning was issued for such a large amount of counties. This just to basically give all of you notice that this line is going to impact you. And the speed on this, the new speed on this is toward the east northeast at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So again, this new severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5 o'clock this morning, and it basically includes everybody ahead of this line. So I was giving you the counties. I'll give you some of the cities in the immediate path. In fact, let's do this. Let's just put on a new track here now that we have the new warning out until 5 o'clock. I'm tracking the leading edge of this, and this is specifically indicating the potential for damaging 60 mile per hour winds. Gay, the worst of this is basically happening for you right now. Let's redo this track. Right now in Gay, Thomaston 421, the leading edge of this is moving your way. Griffin 432, Barnesville 435, Chapel 441, and McDonough 446. So if you're in Henry County, if you were in Butts County, even if you were up there in South Fayette County, you have a bit more lead time. It's still dry for you, but you're under the warning to give you early notice. However, if you are in, and let's see here, it looks like we may have a new warning in effect. So, getting some more information from First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi. She is telling me about Paulding County. So I'm going to zoom in here on Paulding County. You're going to see a lot of this where I'm in the middle of giving you an explanation, but because we're doing this in real time, I may stop talking about whatever I was talking about just to get to what may be a danger to you. So First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi is telling me about Paulding County. I do not see a warning for Paulding County here, but let's go. So there is I was telling you about this earlier. There's definitely some rotation. There's two little zones here in Paulding County. Let's see what the National Weather Service is saying about this. There is no warning for Paulding County. However, we are definitely seeing some rotation here in Paulding County. So these little rotate, they're not strong, but they're just strong enough. What I'm concerned about in Paulding County, and again, this information coming from First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Jacobazzi, she and I are both watching radar for you, so we definitely have you covered this morning. I'm going to circle the zone that Courtney is mentioning, and this actually concerns me here. This is just southwest of Powder Springs. You can see where the green and the red are coming together, and notice how those colors are suddenly very bright. So that's the concern. Whenever you have the red and the green that comes together and it's super bright, that is where your rotation is. And the reason why I mention the brightness of the colors is because there's red and green everywhere right along in Paulding County. So that's not all rotation. It's specifically these little areas where it suddenly becomes super bright. So we're literally between Hiram and Powder Springs. That's rotation. And that's actually enough rotation to where that could be a concern. So there's no tornado warning for this at the moment, but if you were in Powder Springs, not only is some strong winds headed your way, but that is a rotating storm. So stand by in Paulding County and Cobb County, where Powder Springs is. That could very well be something that we'll be watching here over the next few minutes. Again, there's no warning for that yet, but that's certainly something that we're going to watch for you. What I'll do here is do another velocity scan so I can see exactly how strong the winds are with this particular rotation. The stronger the wind was. So it's about a 40-mile-per-hour wind. If you were with me earlier, the rotation I was looking at further south was also about 40 miles per hour. So at least a 40-mile-per-hour wind if you were in Powder Springs or Hiram right now. So very gusty winds. But our biggest concern at the moment is this rotation that is definitely there. It's very tight, too. Notice how it's a small area. The smaller, the worse, actually, in this particular case. Nice, tight rotation indicates an organized storm. So let's get back up to Paulding County. That's we have this severe thunderstorm warning south of Atlanta, so we're going to continue to track that for you for gusty winds that's impacting a very large area. But our biggest concern at the moment is definitely this rotation that we're seeing that's moving out of Paulding County and into Cobb County. So we'll take you back over to velocity mode, and what we'll do, we get these scans like every minute. So I'm going to continue to just kind of keep this zoomed in to see what we have here. Between Hiram and Powder Springs, this is moving northeast, so along Highway 92 is where this is headed. Eventually toward Marietta. Again, this is not, there's no tornado warning here. If you're in Cobb County, if you're in Paulding County, you are not under an alert. But what we are doing here in the First Alert Weather Center, First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris and I, we're just tracking this stuff to give you an idea of what you can expect. So even though you're not under a warning, this is a zone that we're watching very carefully because we are seeing rotation. You notice how that just moved, so that's our new scan. And that rotation is holding as it moves toward Powder Springs. Again, I want to remind everybody there is no warning here, but this is a zone that we're watching. If there were to be a tornado warning, this is where it could be here over the next few moments. Again, no warning yet, though. We have to sort of look at the scans to make sure that the rotation holds together. And at the moment, the Weather Service deciding not to go with a warning. But certainly something that is, because look at that, the velocity just went up to 45, so the winds are increasing in this particular cell as it moves toward Powder Springs. So if you're in Powder Springs, you're already seeing some very gusty winds, 45, 50 mile per hour, and that's rotation that we're still looking at. Again, there was no warning for you, but that is something that we are watching very carefully up there in Paulding County. So we'll keep you up to date on Paulding. Just know if you're in Powder Springs, you're getting rocked right now with some gusty winds, and that'll continue for you for about 10 minutes or so before this continues to move toward the north and east. If they do something with this cell, if they issue a warning, we'll come back to that and let you know immediately. In fact, just so you guys know, we're doing this. I'm doing this on our streaming channels just to kind of keep you guys up to date on what's going on. It's overnight. We want to make sure you guys are safe and that you are absolutely aware of everything that's happening. Even if the stuff isn't severe, even if it's just rain, we want to make sure that you know that we're here and we're watching it for you. There is a new tornado warning, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off of this, and we'll get back on Atlanta News First for what will be a live update across the board.